The fear of losing a client makes you poor. You quote lower than you actually should because making some money is better than making no money, right? So you take on projects that drain you because turning down work feels irresponsible, feels very risky. So you let the clients diagnose their own problem because pushing back might cost you the gig, right? And all of these things are the big problem in your approach. So you take on clients you don't respect, working on problems that you don't care about because you're too afraid to say no. You always deliver what they ask for instead of delivering what they actually need. This is how this scarcity mindset becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you operate from fear, the less valuable you become. And the less valuable you become, the more you need every client. This is a vicious circle, my friend. So this broke mindset shows up in 3 different ways. Because you take on all these different projects, every project is unique. You always have to do a different onboarding. It's a different conversation. You're solving different problems. Everything is new and fresh, maybe even interesting, because it's always a different project. But this prevents you from noticing patterns, which will be important. And I will tell you about that more later in the video. And number 2, you charge deliverables instead of outcomes. So you sell $3,000 for a website, $5,000 for a brand package, $2,000 for sales copy. So you're pricing by your labor, not your insight, not by the value you provide. Number 3, you have nothing to show for except your portfolio. After you've done a couple of projects, 10, 20, 30, 40, you should have more than portfolios. You should have frameworks, systems, intellectual property. But instead, you have screenshots and testimonials. The real tragedy, my friend, is that as a freelancer, you are actually in a great position to build wealth. Not as a freelancer really, but like as a service provider. This is a great opportunity to have. It can be a very fulfilling job. You deepen your craft, you get better at what you love doing, and once you start doing this for people you like, you want to see win, everything becomes much more pleasant and rewarding. You actually have a lot of opportunities in front of you. You see many businesses from the inside. But instead of leveraging this potentially very valuable position, many service providers just get better at being a helping hand, being an order taker, which will never lead to the results that you want as a freelancer. It will never give you the freedom. It will never give you the financial security. It will always keep you on a leash. Basically, you're in a situation where you are like an employee, but without the benefits, without the security, with more paperwork, with more headache. And I want you to avoid this. And that's why I want to help you in this video. And the trick is to move from low agency to high agency. Low agency is what I think most freelancers act from. That is just taking orders, just being reactive, waiting for the client to tell them what to do, and then they just do it without questions asked. But people who show high agency can break through the feast and famine circle. And that means also doing stuff that is counterintuitive. For example, being absolutely okay with losing client, approaching every conversation with the mindset of I don't care if I get that client or not, even if I have money, or even if I don't have money. Having money helps actually, right? Like, who am I kidding? It's helpful to have money in the bank to be so confident. But in any case, it is necessary to approach these conversations with confidence. People with high agency are able to see big problems out there, hard problems, and say, okay, I'm willing to solve this problem. I might not be able to do it today, but I want to put in the work. I will learn about it and I will get better at solving this problem. When you decide to work with one client, a specific group of clients that you care about, then you will automatically get better at spotting their problems, and you will go so deep into their sphere that you cannot help but improve. Because when people with high agency approach a client project, they will not just wait to take orders. They will go to the client and say, hey, actually what you come to me for is not the real issue. I have seen the problem. I've seen it many times before, and I can help you solve it. But it goes beyond the scope that you thought about when you approached me, because they have agency, they are assertive, they are willing to stand up for solving that problem, they're willing to stand up for themselves and also for the client and tell them what is actually good. Because like we want to be treated as an expert, right? So we need to act like an expert. We need to have agency and be assertive and be able to communicate that to the client. And every problem you solve will help you to spot even more patterns in a project. And the more patterns you spot, the better you can create a system to solve these patterns and problems in a more efficient way, which then means they have to work less on a specific problem because they have frameworks, templates, and other products in place that will help them get the job done without being involved with their time, which is the most valuable assets. And we try to reduce the amount of time we work to make money, right? So here's the cool thing. You don't have to abandon the service work. Just abandon this poor scarcity freelance mindset. You just need to think more like a solopreneur, like a one-person business, like a business owner, right? Someone who takes charge, someone who spots problems and solves them and evolves with his or her business. So instead of custom solutions, you want to offer proven systems that you build over time. So you avoid to start from scratch every time there's a new project coming your way. Because you work with the same clients again and again, and you solve the same problem again and again, you build frameworks, and then every time there's a new project that starts, you can just open your Notion or whatever you work with, you look at your framework, and you just follow your own step-by-step guide, your own blueprint that guides, that describes how you onboard a client, what do you say, what do you need to cross off the list, what is the checklist that you have for each phase. You don't have to make that stuff up anymore. You maybe even build templates. I, for example, have website templates that I use when I build a website for a client. I have a questionnaire that I give to a client whenever I build or write for them, so they can give me all the input that I need to write a website. That is part of my framework. Okay, now I want you to transform your business, your freelance gig, in just 90 days. It's actually really straightforward, and all you have to do is to invest 30 days in each phase that I'm telling you about right now. Okay, phase number 1 is all about focus. You want to become aware of the people you actually care about and respect and look at ways to solve their problems. Analyze your past projects, your current projects, and look for what energizes you and what doesn't. Focus on the right people that value your craft and the way you see the world, and the rest will follow. When you respect the client, you will push for real solutions that actually help them instead of just quick fixes, because you want to see them win. If they respect you and you establish respect and value, they will pay you enough so you have the time and the headspace to actually work towards these big wins instead of quick fixes. Phase number 2, pattern documentation. Document everything that you learn about the projects that you're doing. After each project, spend at least 30 minutes documenting what actually happened. What problem did they think they had? What problem did you actually solve? What questions did you ask that revealed the real issue? Which solution worked across different clients? And then you want to track the exact words they use when they're struggling. You want to really capture their language. You want to notice which objections always come up. These patterns are worth more than any course or certification. If you learn to spot patterns and solve these patterns for your clients, you will strike gold at some point. Phase number 3, develop systems. Once you documented all these patterns, you will be able to create a repeatable process. Maybe you're asking the same 12 questions every time to diagnose a problem, so this will become your diagnostic framework, right? So these patterns actually turn into tools that will help you to work more effectively, to make your clients happier because you're faster and deliver more reliable results. I'll give you a personal example. When I started working with freelancers and solo business owners, I wanted to offer a big, very pricey package that last for a couple of months of intense work. But this doesn't work because most freelancers struggle to pay for big projects like this. And many are fine with just having some answers and clarity on the next few steps. So what I did is to create an offer that is more like an audit. So I create an audit that is where people talk to me for 1.5 hours, and I lay out everything that I think could be improved, and I tell them exactly what the next few steps are that they can take. For that, they can afford this kind of work, and it doesn't cost me much time. The product I'm working on right now is something I would give these clients for free as a resource to work through, while I invest 1.5 hours and solve their problem. I give them a lot of value without having to charge them way too much. So they can go, they can walk and try out the new approaches, and if they struggle again, they can come to me again, or if they become successful and they struggle in a different area, then they might be able to afford a way bigger transformation program. So I was able to create this audit because I was talking to many people, because I was solving their problems and understanding their challenges. So I was like, okay, well, now that I see these patterns, there's ways that I can help them without having to spend too much time on this. I can systemize that. I can create a resource that helps them, that they can read through themselves, that I can sell for not much money, or that I can even give away for free. By the way, I'm building that thing right now. So if you're interested in that, you can test it for free. If you send me an email or write a comment below, I would happily test this resource with you. Yeah, that's basically it. So if you build a system like that, or frameworks or products, then you can compound your value in ways that the average freelancer will never experience. So what used to take you 20 hours might take you 5 hours, because you don't have to figure out everything from scratch anymore. If you take away just one thing from this video, then it's this. This whole journey is mostly internal. It is actually too easy to follow the steps that we talked about, but it is harder to shift your mindset from being a freelancer, the average freelancer, into a business owner, into an entrepreneur that takes agency, that has a high sense of agency. You need to stop to see yourself as a skilled laborer, and you need to start to operate as a problem solver. Don't wait for the brief, and start to identify opportunities. Over time, you will build confidence because you have seen those patterns so many times, so you will be able to push back bad ideas from the clients because you know what really works. This is only possible if you have done these things a couple of times. And I know most of you guys might just go back to their regular life, just working for anybody in any kind of project, because it might keep things interesting, and what else can they do, and they will never get high quality clients. But I'm telling you this, if you follow through this video, if you shift your mindset into becoming a problem solver, this life will change, and you will actually have a business that will enable you to be free, to be wealthy, to have time, and doing the work that you love, becoming better at your craft. So this is it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like or a comment if you have any questions. I'd love to get in touch with you. Again, if you want the resource, just let me know, write me an email. I'd love to stay in touch. Thank you so much. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.